Today we celebrate the solemnity of the Ascension of the Lord. And allow me to begin with a text that is not part of today's readings, but is actually the first book of that St. Luke wrote, the Gospel. You know that St. Luke wrote the Gospel according to St. Luke. In the second book, the continuation of that book is the Acts of the Apostles. And in the Acts of the Apostles, actually the beginning is our first reading. And in there, we just heard St. Luke's account on the Ascension. But I think it's good to go to his first book and how he concludes that book. I'm going to read the end of that book, chapter 24, verse 50 to 53. And he, is Jesus Christ, led them out as far as Bethany, and he lifted up his hands and blessed them. While he was blessing them, he parted from them and was carried up into heaven. And they, after worshiping him, returned to Jerusalem with great joy and were continually in the temple praising God. Great joy. And it's interesting how the apostles experienced the depart of Jesus Christ. He, Jesus Christ, left them. But instead of being sad, they were happy. The gospel said that they were really experiencing a great joy. The question is why? Usually when somebody is leaving, when somebody leaves, the loved ones, those who love that person, stay sad. They cry, they maybe start thinking about the person, and they are very sad. But in this case, that doesn't happen. Actually, they are very happy. They experience great joy. Why? How we have to understand that Jesus Christ is living and how that event brings happiness to the apostles. Answering that question actually can give us some insight about how we have to understand the ascension of the Lord. And actually, as you can see right now, I have to say that that doesn't mean that he is living in the way that he is abandoning us. He is living, but he is going to, as in today's gospel you just heard, the last sentence, and behold, I am with you always until the end of the age. So they were happy, and they are experiencing happiness and great joy, because the ascension of the Lord doesn't mean that Jesus Christ is leaving us. Actually, the ascension of the Lord means that Jesus Christ, as St. Matthew says, is with us always. So let us go a little bit further and understand how he is with us always and how we can understand that. Now we can go to the first reading, actually, I think, and we can have a term that is going to give us more understanding about how we have to understand the ascension of the Lord. Now the problem is to find that, I have it here. When he had said this, that's Jesus Christ, as they were looking on, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him from their sight. The key term is cloud. It was a cloud that took Jesus Christ. The cloud in the Bible has a theological meaning. If you go to the Old Testament, specifically to the book of Exodus, we find two ideas about the cloud, two meanings actually. we can say about the cloud. The first one, the cloud was always in the tabernacle, the tent of the meeting, which means the tent where God was. So the cloud was the sign of the presence of God. Important to understand that. So when the Bible says that there is a cloud, what the Bible is trying to say that God is there. So Jesus Christ was taken by a cloud, which means he was taken by God. There is another text that is beautiful, actually, in Exodus 2. When the people of Israel were walking in the desert, going to the promised land, the Exodus says that during the day, it was a cloud leading them. That was God, God's presence. So the cloud is God's presence, but it's not any presence. It's the presence that guides the people of Israel. So the cloud is the guiding presence of God. So when St. Luke says in the Acts of the Apostles that a cloud took Jesus Christ, he's saying actually that Jesus Christ enters into the dimension of God, to say it that way. So the ascension, actually, what we are celebrating today is not that God left to another planet and that we don't know where he is. That Jesus Christ is in another star, and that we don't know where that star is. And we have no idea, no clue where he is. What we are celebrating is that Jesus Christ entered into God's presence, into God's dimension. And because Jesus Christ, fully human, one like you and I, who is enjoying the presence of God right now, and he is seated, that the other key term, key sentence actually, it's not a term, it's a sentence. He is sitting at the right hand of God the Father, which means he has power over every other power. He is in the presence of God. And he is sharing that power with the church, with each one of us. So he's saying, St. Luke, that Jesus Christ now is present in another way, as God. What is that way? That space and time doesn't affect Jesus Christ. Which means you and I can go to wherever we want and we can still have access to Jesus Christ. And that's why the apostles were happy. Because now space and time doesn't affect Jesus Christ. I want to say it that way. Doesn't limit Jesus Christ. And he is all over and in every single generation. And everybody can access him. So today's solemnity actually is a recognition that Jesus Christ is alive, is present among us in a mysterious way as God. And that we have to, if we want to have access to him, we have to ascend to him. Not physically, but spiritually. We have to ascend to Jesus Christ, enter into that dimension. And this is what we do every time we come to church and we worship him. That was my first idea, actually, and my first invitation for each one of you this evening, to meditate about that and to recognize that. And the second one, I just mentioned that. We celebrate also that he is seated at the right hand of the Father. That means that he is sharing God's power. And I don't want to go too deep on that idea, just to invite you to reread again reread the second reading, because actually in that second reading, St. Paul is saying how every single power on earth and on the heavens was submitted to Jesus Christ. So there is no power that can overcome Jesus' power. You know that I love movies, huh? One of the last movies, maybe what the last movie that I saw was The Pope's Exorcist. Do you see that movie? I love those movies. It's a little bit dramatic, but anyway, I enjoy that. I have to confess to you, I have never been in an exorcism. I'm not planning to be in one either. It's not my plan. I do believe, as any priest should, that the evil one exists. It is clear. I do not deny that. Those movies are a little bit too much, maybe. Again, I have no idea because I have never been in one, so I don't know if it's that the case, that things happen in that way. I don't believe that too much because it's a movie, huh? But I love to see that because for me it's a reminder that the evil one is there. That the evil one wants to do something in this world, and that he doesn't want you and I to be close to God. That's the essence of the evil one. He doesn't want people to get close to Jesus Christ, to God. Anytime we want to be close, he's not very happy, I guess. I don't know how he manifests that he's not happy. I'm not planning to ask him anything, but he is not happy. I cannot see him being happy when people get close to Jesus Christ, get close to God. So that's why I love those movies. So what I'm trying to say is that he is very powerful. Yes. He is smart spirit, smarter than each one of us, because he is not a human, he is a spirit, so he's very smart. He is powerful, smart. I don't know what more attributes you can give and we can give to him. I don't want to do that right now. My point is that no matter how smart he is, today we are celebrating that Jesus Christ and how powerful he is. Today we celebrate that Jesus Christ conquered the evil one. He conquered the evil one. And that we, as Christians and members of his church, the Catholic Church, we can conquer the evil one. That was my point about talking about this movie. No matter how great that power is, there is a greater power, God, Jesus Christ. And that Jesus Christ conquered this evil power. And we, Christians, we, the church, are meant to be instruments of that power here on earth. So we are meant to conquer evil. I think this celebration, this solemnity, is a reminder to each one of us of that reality. It is evil, yes. It is very powerful evil, yes. But there is something greater, Jesus Christ, more powerful, and the power of love. So let us celebrate this wonderful solemnity with those two thoughts. The first one, remember, he is with us. The ascension of the Lord is a celebration of the presence of God, of the presence of Jesus Christ in us. In a mysterious way, we have to ascend to enter into that presence. And second, we are celebrating the power of God, the wonderful power of God that conquered evil. And because of that, we are invited to conquer evil every day too, in the same way that Jesus Christ did it. Please stand.